Hi BookTube, it's Gina. Happy Tuesday. I am going to do the Shakespeare Journey Tag today. I'm so excited about this tag. I'm so excited that I was tagged. Thank you to my friend Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading for tagging me. This is an original tag created by the hosts of Shakespeare, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and Nicole at A Day of Small Things. 3 channels which I absolutely adore. So check them out if you haven't already. I am going to do this tag. It's just all about your experiences with Shakespeare. And it's a really fun way to start out Shakespeare. So I've got the notes on my trusty MacBook here. So let's jump right in. Prompt number 1 is, what was your first experience reading Shakespeare and what was it like? So this is so funny. I was an English major in college. I managed to make it through high school and through college without ever having read any Shakespeare. 0, none. So the very first Shakespeare I read was actually due to Shakespeare here, and it was Othello. So this is still the only Shakespeare play I've actually read. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I did a buddy read of this with my friend Juan at Plagued by Visions, and he was so insightful and so helpful. It was a really fun experience to read this with somebody who was much, much more familiar with Shakespeare than I, because he was really able to help me throughout the whole process. Because Shakespeare can definitely be a little bit intimidating for your first read and subsequent reads. I'm starting in on Romeo and Juliet for Shakespeare, and yeah, it's hard. Shakespeare is difficult. Prompt number 2, has the reading of a Shakespeare play ever brought you to tears? And no, even though this is quite an emotional book, it's the only one I've read so far, it did not bring me to tears. I'm not much of an emotional reader. I don't cry at books very often. I have occasionally, or movies. It's just not usually something that I do. Prompt number 3, are there any people that have played a significant role in your Shakespeare journey? This has got to be the hosts of Shakespeare, because if it weren't for Shakespeare, and what year was this that we read this one? Was it 2 years ago? It must have been 2 years ago. I would not have read this if it weren't for Shakespeare. That's the only reason that I picked up a Shakespeare book. And I'm so glad that I did. So thank you to Shakespeare for spurring me on to this. Prompt number 4, do you have a favorite book or film about Shakespeare? And I don't, because I just have not done any research, any studying of Shakespeare, so I'm really not that familiar. But I will say, this is not about Shakespeare, but The Goodbye Girl, starring Marsha Mason and Richard Dreyfuss, one of my all-time favorite movies. And Richard Dreyfuss plays an actor in that movie, and the play that he is working on is Richard III, and it's so funny. I absolutely love that movie. If you haven't watched it, I'd recommend it. It's not about Shakespeare. Shakespeare's totally ancillary, but very important to the plot. And yeah, I absolutely love that movie. Prompt number 5, which character in Shakespeare most resembles you and why? And I don't have a good answer for this one because I'm not familiar enough with any of the plays really to be able to know the characters that well. Hopefully I'm not like any of the characters in Othello, because they're all horrible. Well, except for Desdemona, but she's so gullible so gullible and so just willing to take whatever people throw at her. That is not like me at all. Let's see, prompt number 6. Which play would you most like to see performed in a theater and why? So this is a really fun one too, because even though I haven't read very much Shakespeare, I have watched a lot of Shakespeare in the Park. I am in an area, luckily, I'm so lucky, where I live in a little small town, but the town is very supportive of the arts. And so every year, except for the pandemic years, we have Shakespeare in the Park. So I've seen a lot of Shakespeare in the Park. I'm going to consider that a theater, even though it's not an actual theater. Of course, it's all outdoors, and we pack a picnic and go early and just sit. This year, they were putting on Romeo and Juliet. Was amazing. I'm so glad that that's the one they were doing, because it's going to give me a little more insight into actually reading this one. But I've seen over the years The Tempest, Comedy of Errors, I think twice. That was the one we saw when the pandemic when things had just started opening back up. And it was a tiny little cast. They were playing multiple parts. It was really confusing. The play is already confusing. And it was hilarious and fun. I've seen Henry the Fourth Part 1, Merchant of Venice, Midsummer Night's Dream. So I've seen a lot of Shakespeare performed, which is glorious. On the night before Shakespeare in the Park, I get so excited. I feel like it's Christmas Eve as a kid. I'm like, it's tomorrow. So I love Shakespeare in the Park. So what I would like to see performed next would be one of the biggies that I have not yet seen or read, like Hamlet, or Macbeth, or one of those super well-known ones. Actually, one of those two I would really love to see performed. Prompt number 7. What actor throughout history would you most like to have seen play Hamlet while in his prime? I'm not sure how to answer this one. Kelly showed the Benedict Cumberbatch cover of Hamlet. I love the goofy English actors that are out right now who, what was that? There was a really funny meme about all is wrong with the world when Benedict Cumberbatch can be a sex symbol, which I thought was really funny. So I would like that. I also do love Kenneth Branagh, even though I haven't seen any of his Shakespeare. So I don't even know if he would be any good at it. But yeah, I can't really think of anybody that I would like to see Hamlet, since I'm familiar with Hamlet because I know just culturally where it's from, but I've never seen it or read it. Prompt number 9, do any of Shakespeare's plays intimidate you? Yes, all of them. All of them. They are not easy to read. I am even intimidated by Romeo and Juliet because the language is so complex. This is so good for my brain, though. As I've gotten older and my brain has started to atrophy a little bit, these kinds of things they're so good for you in so many different ways. Prompt number 10 is, what tips would you give to intimidated readers coming to Shakespeare for the first time? That is me. I'm not experienced by any means, but one thing that did really help me are these no fear editions. They have the Shakespeare on one side, and then they have the translated to sort of plain English on the other side. And I found that so helpful because so much of this is just very different from anything I have read before. And so getting it in an edition like this really helped me out a lot. And let's see. Hey, where was I skipped number 8. I didn't do that on purpose. Number 8 is deliver your favorite speech or soliloquy from a Shakespeare play. And I'm actually just going to read a short passage here, which is from Othello. Let's see. This is by Iago. He's persuading Othello without saying it that his wife is cheating on him. His wife is not cheating on him, but he's trying to convince him that he is by saying, "Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. That cuckold lives in bliss, who, certain of his fate, loves not his wronger, but oh, what damned minutes tells o'er, who dates, yet doubts, suspects, yet soundly loves." And the reason I love that passage so much is because I've got chills just thinking about it even, is Shakespeare is so in our cultural consciousness. That phrase, green-eyed monster, we've heard it a million times, we all use it, but stumbling across a passage like that I have heard a million times but have never actually read the play from was so much fun. I loved it. It was really a fun experience to finally see where that actually came from. Prompt number 11 is, which is your favorite Shakespeare and why? Well, I've only read this one, so I'm going to say right now Othello is my favorite that I've read. I've loved all of the ones that I have seen performed in the park. Yes, I'm gonna stick with Othello for now, since that's the only one that I've read. And then prompt number 12 is to tag some other booktubers. So I'm going to tag, and let me just say, all of these channels I watch regularly, I absolutely love. If you haven't checked them out, you really, really should go do it. And I'm going to start with Mitzi Reads and Writes, who has, shouldn't describe everybody who I'm going to tag, because it's going to take forever, but I do love Mitzi always finds the best used books. We have very similar tastes. She's always coming in with a vintage cool book haul. I'm going to tag Renee at The Evening Reader, who is a fairly small-ish channel and new to me that I'm absolutely loving. Shelley Swearingen, who I absolutely adore. She is so enthusiastic and excited about books. She's always just a joy to watch. I'm going to tag Amy of Hearthridge, who is so cozy and calming, and I absolutely love her channel. I'm going to tag Sue Jackson, who is so smart, and I love her channel. She's always pulling up books that I would not have otherwise seen. She reads a little bit more contemporary books than I do, and so I'm always getting great ideas from her. And then I'm going to tag Emmy, who has a huge channel. She probably won't see this, but she just recently did a ranking of all of her favorite Shakespeares. And so I saw that video and thought, it would be really fun to see her do this tag. So I am excited to share this with you. I hope you're participating in Shaktember. I'd love to hear down below what you're reading, if you're participating or not. And do please go check out all of the other channels that I mentioned. Bye.